2. Are all ways of measuring accurate? Background. 2 teens died from overdosing on pure powdered caffeine. The directions on the bag say to measure 1/32 teaspoon. Is it possible to measure this amount safely, or should the directions on the bag be changed? In the table below, follow the procedure steps on the left side and answer questions on the right side. Purpose. Can 1/32 teaspoon be measured accurately enough to be safe? Imagine you ordered bulk caffeine and these are the instructions. Measure 1/32 teaspoon of caffeine powder. Add to your drink. Do not consume more than 3/32 teaspoons. Don't measure this yet. Just answer question 1 on the right. So go to the right, you see Q1, hypothesis. Do you think you can measure 1/32 teaspoon accurately enough to be safe? Just answer that question. A hypothesis is your best guess. If you want to pause, you can. I will keep going. Procedure. Now try it. Find a powdery substance like starch, flour, sugar, or salt in your kitchen. 2. Find the best tool you have to use. Look in your kitchen or your chem kit. So you have a set of teaspoons, you could use that. Or if you have a regular spoon from your drawer, that's about the size you see here, kind of a typical spoon you would use to eat cereal maybe. Or if you don't, you can use a scoop from your kit. Number 3, on a plate or piece of paper, use your tool to estimate 1/32 teaspoon. If you are confused, it is okay. Remember, you are trying to see if this is safe. Put the amount you think is equal to 1/32 teaspoon on a plate or a piece of paper. Again, it's okay to struggle, but if you need help, check out these slides. So if you look to the right, question 2 says to take a picture of the amount you think is approximately 1/32 teaspoon. Make your best estimate and insert a photo of it there to show us that you did this. And then keep that sample because you're going to use it in the next steps. And then question 3, how confident are you that this is actually within the safe amount of caffeine which is recommended in the instructions, which was up here again. The slides here, if you do want to use those, will help you understand what is 1/32 and what that means. So if you want to go to those slides, you can, and you can hear me reading it by clicking in the corner up there. And this kind of goes through a little bit about fractions, and I'll let you do that on your own if you want to, because I'm reading it again there, but talking about what do we mean by 1/32. So back to the lab. Okay, so I'm going to look in my kit and I'm going to find my weigh boat, and I'm going to find the scale. And you're going to put the batteries in and make sure you take off all of the lids before you use your scale. There's one lid, and actually they both came off at the same time, but there's actually 2 lids. Usually this one will stay on. You take the big one off, you still have the small one to go. Okay, then for your powder, if you're working from home, you're going to find something in your house. Maybe it's baking soda, or maybe you have some salt, or you might have flour or cornstarch in your cabinet, in your cupboard, or you might find some powder in your bathroom or your bedroom, baby powder, some kind of powdery substance. So find something like that, and then that is what you're going to pretend is your powdered caffeine. Now remember, the boy saw the instructions, 1/32 teaspoon. So the next thing you need to find is a spoon. Now this type of spoon is sometimes called a teaspoon. So if you have one of those, you could use that. If you have an actual teaspoon measuring spoon that's labeled 1 TSP, that would be good. And if you don't have either of those for some reason, you should have something like this in your kit. Now remember, the boy just had to do his best with what he had at home as well. So whatever you have, use it. If you have one of these, it's probably the most accurate. But now we have to do 1/32 of that. So I'm going to take a paper plate. You might have a piece of paper or a tray or something, or just a plate. And if you start, here's 1 teaspoon, but 1/32 would be if you took this 1 and split it into 32 equal parts. And that is the amount you're supposed to take. So I'll leave this here at that, and I hope you will think about how would you do this. If you were that young man or that teenager, how would you figure out how much to use? And then you're going to weigh that in the next steps. Now that you have your sample, you're going to do this section, results. Let's check to see how close you are. Would you be safe if you consumed this much caffeine? You're going to measure your estimated powder with the lab scale. Read below. And you can also watch a video for more help. So the video there will explain how to use the scale. The main things are the power button to turn it on and off. The mode button, that's really important. Make sure you see G, a little G will show up right above the numbers. So we don't want OZ for ounces. We don't want a different unit. We want G for grams. Make sure that the plastic lids are off so you have the tray there with no plastic over it or it won't work. And this T, tare button, makes the scale go to 0. So you'll see in the video, if you need it, that you can put a tray, the weigh boat or the tray, we'll call it the weigh boat. If you can put that on the scale here, and then press the T button, and it'll go back to 0. So it automatically subtracts the weight of the tray. So then you can answer these questions to make sure you know how to use the scale. And then you're going to carefully pour the amount of powder that you measure, that you think is the right amount, from the plate into the weigh boat and weigh it. And you're going to put your mass here, and then if you're working from home, you've got 2 other imaginary groups' masses here. And that's where you stop for this week. Throw away your sample after finding the mass. Don't eat it. And do not turn in this assignment yet. Keep it and we'll finish it in week 2.